What's up, YouTube? Welcome to the Coffee Pod. My name is She Said.
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
Woman celebrates that divorce rates are skyrocketing. She says this is wonderful because modern women are having a reckoning. And what is that reckoning? Well, I'll let you check it out for yourself. Let's get it.
I really think we're going to start to see the divorce rates just skyrocket because it seems like women who are married to men are having a reckoning. I think a lot of it has to do with TikTok, but they're starting to realize that, you know, not only do their husbands not even like them or know them, but they actually have it worse off than their moms. I actually had a friend say to me recently, and she's married to a very progressive man in theory, but when she looked at her parents' relationship, her dad worked, her mom was raised the kids, there was at least some sort of division of labor where they knew their roles. Like the way she explained it to me, she is involved in every task in the home. There is nothing she's not involved in. Even his tasks, somehow she gets looped into. And this is actually a very progressive man too. And so what I think a lot of women are realizing is that because these things are not really outlined, who's doing what?
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, man. Now, modern women, because this video is really popular right now on TikTok. Now, modern divorced women are complaining and saying their past parents, grandparents had better marriages than them because roles were defined. That's the problem. Roles were defined. But does she mean gender roles were defined, or does she mean that those men could lead better? And do you want leaders? Whole lot of confusion here. Let's keep listening.
Fair play. If you don't have it, buy the book. It's saving marriages or causing divorces based on how invested the men are in that book. But there's a beautiful piece out in the Cut this week. It's by Maggie Smith. I was able to read it, even though there may be a paywall, but I think you can maybe read a couple articles for free. And she's basically a writer, very talented writer, married with kids. And she had a poem go viral. And from that moment on, she realized her husband sucked. She started getting opportunities to talk more and travel. And every time she traveled, he punished her somehow for it. Whether it was, having a bunch of shit to come home to, or making her feel guilty for not being there.
So basically this chick's career took off and she left her husband, which is very typical. And of course it's his fault, right? That all of a sudden when women's careers take off, what happens? They leave marriages. They think they can do better than you. I mean, there's studies to prove this, etc. Unbelievable.
For going on these amazing opportunities for her career, these trips that would, launch her career even more. He didn't want that. Because at the end of the day, men who are not deconstructing patriarchy, they see themselves as the sun, and we just orbit around them. And that's why they're jealous of their kids, because the kid is born and now it's like, wait a second, King Baby wants a bottle too. If a woman's career takes off, wait a second, what about me? And what was heartbreaking in that piece is that when she went to this event, she saw other women there whose husbands were there with them to support them. Or they one guy tried to take a photo of her and was like, oh, you should send that to your husband. Or offered to send it, to show her, in her glowing, in her creative prime. She's like, no, that'll make it worse. Don't ever be married to a man who not only doesn't want to see you succeed, but actively wants you to fail. That's a king baby.
A king baby. Wow. Okay, guys, so what do you think of all that? So this lady who gained a bunch of success, fame, and notoriety from a poem she wrote about her failing marriage, or she writes poems about relationships. Let me go back, see if I can read that poem she put there on the screen. It says, my marriage was never the same after that. In 2016, I wrote a poem that went viral. My home life got complicated. And this is Maggie Smith. What's the poem that she wrote? No, I'm curious. All right, so I can't really find the viral poem. I'm seeing a bunch of poems here by this lady. But anyways, you guys heard it for yourself. You got this woman here who's talking about women today are realizing that their husbands don't like them or know them, and that their marriages are worse off than the people in their past. And the solution to that, she says, is find yourself a progressive man, not in theory, but also in practice. So were those men before your husband who you left, were they progressive? Were they these progressive men who you're talking about? Where are these progressive men that these women are talking about? Because it couldn't have been the marriages from your parents or your grandparents. No, it couldn't have been them, because men have gotten more progressive, or at least they've tried. But is it possible to please a woman? Or have women been given more freedom and they only want more? Where are these progressive men in the world today that these women want? I believe the most progressive men are here in the United States. Where are they? Where are you going to go to? Where else in the world are men more understanding, deal with more shit from women and marriages than here? And guys, we're going to check out some of these comments to see what the people have to say. This woman says, I'm telling you, women are learning so much on this app. So there should be your first sign is if you have a woman who goes on TikTok and listens to a bunch of people complain about their marriages, then that's a chick that you want to avoid. And what I mean is these are women who are delusional in their understanding of life. I bet you this woman who we just finished listening to thinks she deserves a top percent man, thinks she deserves a man to take care of her, pay all her bills. And if you asked her what she would rate herself, she'd probably tell you a 10. But we have this woman here, single, on the comment talking about, I'm telling you, women are learning so much on this app. But we've already known that women who spend too much time online and on TikTok filming themselves are dangerous. Why? Because they get online, embarrass themselves and their husbands. On top of that, they're being brainwashed in this hive mindset of convincing each other that they need progressive men, and the men who are progressive aren't good enough. Can they, for 1 second, maybe sit down and think, could it be that this type of man doesn't exist? I mean, what are we talking about here? Progressive in what? Shared roles in what? Because when men had the majority of the responsibility, when men were involved in the woman's life, they didn't complain. The only people who've complained the most at this point are who? Women. The more responsibility they've gotten in marriages. So you've got to watch out, man. You got to stay away from women who either consume these books, sound like these women. I'm talking about men today who are interested in dating, relationships, marriage, etc. If you're tapped out of it all, your choice. Another comment here says, is why the old geezers in Congress want to ban it. So these women are like, oh, they want to ban the app because we're just learning too much about how much we're worth. Talk about narcissism. It's they've made it about them. This obviously has to do with us. Oh shit. Another comment here says, after 29 years, it's all finally making sense. We are done putting up with games and gaslighting, she says. What's funny here is these are the most miserable women, bro. The most miserable chicks you will find are post-wall, older women, divorced, alone, battling depression, anxiety, dating here and there. Go talk to these chicks. You guys know some of these women. No, some of these women are you guys' mothers. Some of these women are you guys' aunts, right? We know these women and they truly think like this, and it's devastating, honestly. Another comment here says, I thought I was married to a progressive man, but it was just window dressing, this chick says. Another person says, the progressive ones are almost worse because they think they've done all the deconstruction already. So even the progressive men who defend modern women are not good enough for them. Another comment says, sounds like he's pretending to be progressive, but still using weaponized incompetence. Another comment here says, some states have backlog waiting lists for court dates. So they're talking about for divorces. Another chick here says, yep, as my career grew, he got so resentful and punished me with messes and shade. Left him after 13 years and 5 kids. No regrets. No regrets. So here we have another woman whose career took off, and she's like, he got resentful. Well, I bet you if you were a fly in the wall in this chick's house, you'd probably see that she also started to change. The data is very clear when it comes to women getting promotions, women's careers taken off while they're in the marriage. When that happens, that usually increases the chances of divorce like crazy. Like crazy. Another comment here says, fair play made my marriage fun again. We are friends again. Warning, we fought for 8 months while we went through it, but it was so worth it. Fair play. Probably some feminist book for married women. Now the comment says, I love how we have all awakened to the fact that they are all the same game, same script, same horse shit, she says. Now the comment here says, people like to say millennial men are more progressive. I don't believe it, she says. I think they like to say they are, but in practice, it's another story, she says. They're not perfect. Yeah, man, once again, what we're going to see, the irony here is this woman is over here gloating over the fact that these women are realizing their worth. A lot of people misunderstand my view of even the future of marriage. I don't know if marriage will be a thing 20, 30 years from now. I don't know. I trust the data that says, hey, by 2030, more than half, if not half of women are going to be single. Marriageable women are going to be single. And who do you think are going to be the most miserable? I mean, honestly, who do you guys think are going to be the most miserable? We're in the beginning of that. And who do you see crying on TikTok, right? Who do you see having meltdowns? 1 in 4 of these women are on psych meds. It's going to get real sad for a lot of these women and society as a whole. And so with that being said, if you're able to find a chick who doesn't think this way, who understands the agenda that's being fed to women today to make them literally impossible to marry, then good for you, right? Good for you, because you really want to be careful out here. As always, guys, I appreciate you for checking out yet another episode of Coffee Pot. Till next time, I'm out. Peace.